Picture this. A Sunday morning, the church is full of families. In the third pew, a 7-year-old boy is squirming and making strange noises. His mother tries to hold him down, whispering, "Be quiet, we're in church." His father frowns, giving him a warning look. But the boy only gets louder. This isn't an unfamiliar scene. Parents all over the world struggle with the same thing. How do we get our children to be quiet during worship? How do we raise kids who fear God without making them hate church? But in Japanese churches, things are completely different. I once observed a church in Tokyo where Sunday school children sat quietly on cushions. No one interrupted when the teacher spoke. During the sermon, there was no running or shouting in the hallways. These children weren't forced to sit still. They wanted to sit properly from within. They were using a method called Shitsuke, a parenting philosophy. It combines fearing God with inner self-discipline. Tonight, I want to share this method with you. Shitsuke is one of the most important concepts in Japanese education. The kanji characters mean to make the body beautiful. It refers not just to discipline, but to developing inner character through physical practice. Japanese educators understand that external behavior training ultimately shapes inner character. When a child learns to sit quietly in church, this external discipline slowly becomes internal, turning into reverence for God. There's also the concept of shitsukeru, to train or raise. This word comes from the idea of making someone stand. The essence of upbringing is helping a child stand in the right place, behaviorally and spiritually. There are 3 elements of Shitsuke. First, modeling. Parents show children first through their own actions. Second, repetition, practicing again and again without giving up. Third, time, trusting in the power of time. This is surprisingly similar to the biblical principle. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Proverbs 22:6. You might wonder, won't this strict parenting method cause rebellion? Diana Baumrind, a developmental psychologist, proposed a famous parenting styles theory. She categorized parents into 4 types. Authoritative parents show high demand with high response. Authoritarian parents show high demand but low response. Permissive parents show low demand with high response. Neglectful parents show neither. Research shows children raised by authoritative parents are the healthiest across all dimensions. They have both self-discipline and self-esteem, both reverence and creativity. Japanese Shitsuke education is exactly the model of authoritative parenting. High standards combined with high responsiveness. A 2018 meta-analysis combined 200 studies with over 100,000 families. The conclusion: children raised in authoritative families show 47% higher church participation, 53% higher faith resilience, and 61% less rebellious behavior. Why? Because these children feel not controlled, but loved. When kids know mom and dad love me even when they correct my behavior, they accept discipline more easily. They connect this discipline with love, and eventually with God's love. This isn't about oppression, it's about protection. Many Christian parents worry, if I'm too strict, my child will leave the church. This worry is reasonable, but the problem isn't strictness, it's without love. The core principle of Japanese Shitsuke is, every discipline must make the child feel loved. Here's how it works. Before correcting behavior, first give a hug. During correction, maintain eye contact. After correction, give the child time to recover. This matches exactly with what Ephesians 6:4 teaches. Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. Not provoking to anger means not treating children with anger, impatience, or contempt. Bringing them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord means God's way, with love, with boundaries, with principles. Fearing God and feeling loved are not opposites. They are 2 sides of the same coin. So how do we practice Shitsuke parenting at home? Here are 5 specific steps. First, establish a family altar, a daily spiritual ritual. Japanese families have a tradition of morning prayer. Every morning, the whole family prays together. Just a few simple words, but done consistently every day. In Christian families, this can become family altar, a fixed daily spiritual time. Choose 15 minutes either morning or evening. The whole family sits together. Someone leads in prayer. Everyone takes turns sharing one thing they're grateful for that day. The key is doing this at the same time and same place every day, creating a spiritual rhythm. Once this chain is established, children connect family altar with love and connection. Second, use Shitsuke language, expressing expectations positively. Japanese childcare workers don't say, "Don't run," they say, "Walk one step at a time." In spiritual parenting, it's the same. Instead of, "Don't be loud," say, "We be quiet in church." Instead of, "Don't play on your phone," say, "Let's give our phones to God." Instead of, "Don't lie," say, "God loves honest children." This is called affirmative form. Telling children what to do instead of what not to do. Third, implement natural consequences. Japanese Shitsuke education emphasizes letting children experience the natural consequences of their behavior. If a child misbehaves in church, don't reprimand loudly on the spot. Instead, after the service, calmly talk with the child. Do you think your behavior in church today honored God? How do you think other uncles and aunties saw you? How do you think we can improve? This is called self-reflection. Let the child think for themselves instead of being forced by parents to apologize. Fourth, establish family priest roles. Everyone has responsibility. Japanese families emphasize role division. Every family member has their own position. In Christian families, assignments can look like this. Dad leads family prayer. Mom leads Bible study. Children take turns leading worship songs or sharing gratitude. This lets children feel, "I am part of this spiritual family. I have responsibilities." Fifth, weekly family meetings. Spiritual review. Japanese companies have weekly meeting traditions. This concept can apply to families. Every Sunday evening, the whole family answers 3 questions. What spiritual growth did I have this week? Where could I do better next week? What spiritual goal do I want to challenge next week? This is called spiritual growth review. It helps children see faith as a journey, not a task. Why do these 5 steps work so effectively? From a psychological perspective, the core principle behind Shitsuke parenting is the establishment of identity. When children participate in family altar daily, do spiritual review weekly, and take on spiritual responsibilities monthly, they slowly form an identity. I am a member of God's family. Once this identity is established, it's hard to break. Neuroscientists find that when a person has identity recognition, the brain automatically looks for evidence supporting this identity. A child who identifies as someone who fears God automatically feels uncomfortable when seeing ungodly behavior. A child who identifies as a member of a spiritual family actively pursues spiritual growth. This is called self-schema. Whatever label you give yourself, your brain automatically seeks evidence to support that label. The spiritual identity you establish for your child today will stay in their brain forever. I know as Christian parents, you struggle. You want your children to fear God, but also worry that being too strict will push them away. You want them to love church, but don't want them to see faith as a burden. This struggle is real, and it's beautiful. It shows you care. But I want to tell you this. Your child doesn't need a fun church. They need a loving one. When children feel mom and dad love me, they accept discipline more easily. When they feel church is my second home, they naturally commit. When they feel God loves me, they naturally fear God. Japanese Shitsuke wisdom isn't about oppression. It's about establishing order in love and feeling love in order. 1% progress is enough. One more family prayer today, one more spiritual conversation tomorrow. After 365 days, you'll see a completely different child. If this changed how you think about spiritual parenting, please subscribe, because every week we'll dive deeper into Christian education and spiritual growth. See you next time.